Let's get you on the Yahoo, and then you still got to go and search for My Big Campus.
Yeah, now you should be able to get on My Big Campus. Mm-hmm. All right, today we're going to go over a couple things, Dropbox and apps. Now, Dropbox is something that a couple of teachers have been using at North Central, and they've had success with it, and they seem to like it. It's a very useful little program. Basically, it's a file hosting service operated by Dropbox Inc. They have a free service that most of us will be able to use. They make their money by actually selling larger services to people in companies, but they do offer a free service for individual users. Basically, it allows someone to create a special folder or a folder that they can use on all their tablets and computers and smartphones and everything. Basically, it's a folder that Dropbox synchronizes between all of your devices. So if you drop something in that folder on one device, it will appear on all the devices that you are logged into using Dropbox. And it can be very helpful, and I'll explain why. One, you can replace all the thumb drives. If you use those thumb drives to stick in your computer, if you're making a document at home, and then you take the thumb drive with you. If you're like me, you can never find your thumb drives when you need them. This will replace your thumb drives. You don't have to worry about those thumb drives anymore. You can easily move your documents from one computer to another, so you can move from your home computer to your school computer. You can move it from computer to iPad and the reverse. So you can move it from your iPad to your computer and back and forth. You can store just about anything into Dropbox. You can store papers, you can store PowerPoints or keynote presentations you've made. You can put music into Dropbox. You can put videos that you created or found that you want to save. From last week when we talked about Screencast-O-Matic, you can save those into Dropbox. And you can also save pictures. It's a great place to save and store pictures. And it is password protected, so it is a safe place to store your items. Classroom use is very good. You can create a classroom Dropbox. So we created a classroom Dropbox for Chris Cisco and Melanie Payne. Both of them have been using it for quite a while now. And the reason why they wanted it is they wanted a place for students to drop off or pick up graded work. Now, I know a lot of people have expressed the problem of grading on My Big Campus. When you hand out an assignment, you have to grade it on My Big Campus. If you create a classroom Dropbox, what that allows you to do is to use Goodreader to correct the stuff, and instead of shipping it back to My Big Campus, you can do all the work. You can hand the assignment out in My Big Campus, they can pick it up, and then they can drop it off into Dropbox, and then you can pick it up right there in Dropbox, be able to grade it using Goodreader, and then you'll be able to drop it right back into that. It basically kind of gets away from those multiple steps that My Big Campus creates, and it makes it a lot easier to grade. Another important thing is that using Dropbox and Goodreader, we'll talk about here in a few minutes, you can eliminate the need for the internet. And I know that's why Chris and Melanie was so interested in it, is because both of them, Chris had her soccer she was going to, and Melanie has her kids that she's always busy with. And a lot of times when you're at these places doing something, you don't have internet access. What Dropbox will allow you to do is actually store those papers in Goodreader, so then you can grade those papers without having the need to have internet somewhere. So you can grade papers without having the internet. All right, location. You can put Dropbox on any desktop or laptop computer as a program. It's a free download right off the internet. It's also an app that you can add on to your iPad or Android tablet if you use one of those at home. They have apps for your smartphone, so if you have an Android or an iPhone, you can use it. It's great because if you take a picture on your phone, you can put it in a Dropbox and it'll appear on any computer that you have. So it's a neat way to be able to share files on any device you could possibly use. And also, if you're at a computer that is not yours and you want to pick up a file, so if you're family's house and you want to show pictures, or if you're somewhere else and you need a file to look at and use, you can use the web browser version of Dropbox. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your computer that you're using. You can log in using your username and password, and you can pick up any file from any computer that you can get on the internet. How to sign up for Dropbox? You can sign up on the website. This is what the website looks like. You can sign up if you download the app. The first thing it's going to ask you to do is create an account. Basically, both of them, you'll see where it says sign in at the top. Once you click the sign in button, that little drop box there in the right hand corner will appear. And basically, you'll create an account. To create an account on Dropbox, all you have to do is basically put in your email and then make a password. It can be any password you want. You can use your school email if you want to make a school Dropbox. If you want to make a Dropbox just for yourself, you can use your home email address. If you want to make a class Dropbox, what we have been doing is we've been making Gmail accounts for the class. So, like for Cisco's, use her as example. Her Gmail account we made was nchs.cisco@gmail.com. And that's the Gmail account we used for her classroom Dropbox. The only thing I ask is please remember the password. Uh, the students have been making Dropboxes for their personal use so they can keep and back up all their stuff. And the biggest problem that they've had is that the remembering of the password. So you can try to write it down or keep it or use a password that you use, for school stuff. But we can't really help you much if you don't remember your password and come in for help. When you get on Dropbox, this is what it looks like on the computer. You can see that basically it's just like any file that you would open on your desktop. It lists all your files you have. You can create folders. So I have a folder that's camera uploads. I have a folder called files. You can see there's a bunch of pictures. And the first thing there's a metric conversion worksheet that from Cisco's class actually, and other signs that I have. And if you look at the web version that you would use on your iPad, it's very similar. You can see the same files are right there listed. The first one's that metric conversion worksheet. Then you have my folder for camera uploads and files, and then my pictures at the bottom. So anything that you put on one computer will appear on everything. So if you are working on something on your desktop at school and you don't get it finished, you can just drop it in Dropbox and you'll be able to finish that work right there on your iPad. Now we talked about using Dropbox and Goodreader. It works really well, and Dropbox can be used from the app in Goodreader. So you don't actually have to leave Goodreader in order to use Dropbox. So if you're going to use it for the classroom, you can actually pull the items right from Dropbox in the Goodreader app, grade them, and pull them right back into Dropbox without leaving that Goodreader app. And you can see the Dropboxes I have down at the bottom there. Once you create a Dropbox, all you're going to need to do is to click on Connect to Servers. It's located next to the last one on the list on the right. When you click Add, the next pop-up will show up. And it's going to give you a list of things you can connect to. Now, there are other options to Dropbox. Probably the most popular is Box.net. But these are all outside, basically, file hosting systems that you can use. We just use Dropbox because it's the most popular one. But once you've created your Dropbox account, you're going to go to Connect to Servers. You're going to click Add, and then you click Dropbox. What this is going to do then is basically open up a tab, and it's going to ask you to make a readable title. So, I've made mine my Dropbox Home for my home use. We have one there for the Student Service Center at North Central. That's a students and I drop off papers and things like that for each other. You can name this anything you want. So if you're using it for school account, it might be Sandy Alderson's school Dropbox. If it's for your art class, you could say, simply put Miss Arterson's art class, and so that the students would know what one to drop stuff off in and what one is their own personal one. But basically, after that, let's go back a little bit. You see all the lists there. After you name it, you're going to have to connect to it. So what you'll want to do is you want to click on the name of it. So if I was going to connect to the Student Service Center one, you want to click on the name of the Student Service Center, not the arrow beside it. When you click on the name of it, it's going to open up and ask you this. All you have to do in order to name it and connect to it is to put in your username and password. After you put in your username and password, you click sign in, and then the Dropbox is connected to Goodreader. So whenever you want to pull up a file, you can just go back to this screen, hit whatever Dropbox you want to connect to, and it will open up that Dropbox in Goodreader. So if something you've created on your desktop, or if there's something that you created on your iPad or somewhere else, you can pull up on Goodreader and pull it straight out of Goodreader and be able to change it on Dropbox. This has been real important for, like I said, Chris and Melanie, because what the students have been doing is they've been pulling those assignments from My Big Campus, turning them into Dropbox. And what Chris and Melanie does is they pull them off of Dropbox and put them in Goodreader. And this allows them to go ahead and grade those assignments offline. And what they'll do is they'll drop them back into the Dropbox, and the students will pull them from Dropbox. And it allows you to do that handwritten stuff. On My Big Campus right now, when you grade something, you can comment in the comment box below, and then you can give a score, but you really can't go in there and write on the paper, make corrections, and those kind of items. On Goodreader, you can do this, and it allows you to do this and then put it right back in the Dropbox for the students. Seems a lot of steps and very complicated, but once you get into it, it's real easy. If you have any questions on it, let me know, and I can come and we can sit down and I can help you set it up and walk you through it. But it actually works really well. Once you use it once or twice, it's real easy, and it's real helpful, especially if you grading papers and you want to have those handwritten comments and handwritten corrections right there on the paper instead of just simply giving a comment on a box and writing down a score for the students. Now, one thing we're going to go over next week, we just don't have the time to go over, is the actual how to upload and download the documents from My Big Campus and Goodreader, and how to import and export them into and out of Dropbox. So if you can this week, go ahead and create your Dropbox. And if you have any help, let me know. If you need any help, let me know. And we can next week show you how to upload and download, because you can do multiple files at once, and that way the entire class dropped off their stuff. You can put it onto Goodreader, grade it, and then move the entire class back to Dropbox. And it's easy. It works well. It just gives you that alternative, because I know a lot of people have asked about having an alternative to My Big Campus, because My Big Campus doesn't allow you to actually write in. Any questions on Dropbox? It's a free service. It works well. It does exactly what it needs to without having any pop-ups, any advertisements, or anything like that. It's a great way to share resources with the students, and it's a great way if you're having problems grading those online assignments. So we wanted to introduce it to you, let you know about it, give you that option of having that ability to actually put those handwritten notes on those assignments for the students. So apps is the last thing we want to talk about here before the bell rings. Apps have been added to North Central students. That's what happened over fall break. Ryan and Carrie worked incredibly hard. I know Ryan worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Carrie worked Friday and Sunday. I went in Monday. But all the apps are on there. There is now a process to add apps. Today, we're going to finalize the process here at Union of adding apps and to make sure that everything is set so that later on this week we can start adding the apps here at Union. Basically, once schools we finished at both schools, what we're going to do is then we will start adding the individual apps for the classes. Here at Union, I know the apps that we're going to add for everybody is the AR reader, the Socratic one, and some other ones that everyone will be able to use. But once we go through and get everyone's individual apps added on, then we'll go back to the individual classes. Like I know Miss Waiton has a thing for her yearbook students that needs to be added. So once we get all the students' apps added at once in general, then we're going to go back and start looking at those individual class apps that people have asked for and have a process so we can start adding those classroom apps that everyone asked for. A couple things that when you're requesting an app, make sure you download the app and check it out. A couple things that it cannot have in it is it can't have a web browser in it. It's remarkable how many of the apps have a web browser built in. Somewhere on the app, the students can get onto the web browser. If there's a web browser built in, we can't add it to the iPad for the simple fact that we can filter it at the school, but if it has a web browser built in, when they take it home, it gives them unfiltered access to the internet. And that is something that the schools decided that they do not want them to have access to, especially when we can't control what they're looking at. So right now, all the apps that have the web browser built in, we've been able to disable the web browser, the built-in web browser, and so that the only way they can get on the internet is through the Lightspeed browser, and we can control their what they look at home. So if an app has a web browser built in, we're not going to be able to add it on. So kind of look at the app, and then if you think it's something that you want and something that you can use in class, you can email it to me. We'll go through it, and once we get everything done, we can add it in so that you can use it in your classroom use. All right, once again, this will be on My Big Campus under the NESC Teacher Training Group, so that if you want to create a Dropbox and you just need a quick question answered, or if you don't want to ask for help, the video and the slideshow will be on there, so you can look it up. Plus, all the old stuff is on there. So if you go to that left-hand column on My Big Campus, you'll see the training group there. And it has all the videos and all the PowerPoints from the previous weeks so that you can check them out and watch them and listen to them. And then next week, like I said, we will go over how to upload and download things from Goodreader, and we've got some other things to go over. So, any questions from anyone? If you have any questions, remember, just email me or FaceTime me. I'll be glad to come and help. I'll be glad to help you set up that Dropbox. I know a lot of the students already have Dropbox, and it is one of the apps that we're adding. So many students are using it. In fact, it is one of the apps that we're going to put on their computer or on their iPad so that they have that option right there on the iPad to have the app so they can be able to drop those papers off and back things up. Dropbox can hold an enormous amount of stuff before you get to your limit and you have to pay. So I mean, it's my. Yeah, and it really probably didn't touch the limit. Yeah, it's really easy to download stuff and it's great. I know at my house, most of our photos we take of our camera, we download Dropbox, and it's really useful. And most of the pictures we take with our camera phone, our smartphones, we download to Dropbox to save them so we can print them off later. So, all right, if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll get back with you and help you out any way we can. So, if nothing else, I hope everybody has a good day.